Hey everybody, back at you again. Happy Friday. This is Brad Linder bringing you your daily comic sketch guide for Brad Linder Creating Comics. And gonna be doing, you may be noticing the camera pulsing here. It's because I just moved it. It'll stop in just a second. I'm gonna share this over with the page and I'm gonna be coloring Silver Surfer. So give me just a second. I'm going to share this over with the page here, and then we are going to get down to business. That way everybody can see it. And there we go. Cool deal. Okay. Now I am going to bring us into the fold here for the Silver Surfer. Now, I like to do three things here that not a lot of people do, and this is an awkward one, but it works. It does work really, really well, and I don't know why, but it does. This is something Rick Buckler taught me and told me to do with this card, and he said, you know, when you did this, he said, it looks great. He said, but do this. He said, do a secret with Silver Surfer that no one else does except the rare few that know about it. This bad boy right here. Pink in the Silver Surfer. That's what gives him that fleshy mirrored edge that some artists grab onto and no one else seems to have. Come in and lay in pink. And he said then have a standard green as well. That way you can have that going on. And I have that right there. Ding. That's not sharpened, but we are going to move on nonetheless. So, like I said, I know this is going to be weird, but trust me on this. Okay, this does work amazingly well. He also is the one that puts flesh tones and a massive amount of bright yellow in Ben Grimm, the Thing. So, like I said, I'm sorry for clearing my throat here. My allergies are tearing me apart today. I know that annoys some people, and I apologize. But I'll try to keep it down as much as possible. But while I'm talking, I got to stretch the old vocal cords and make them, do the thing that I needed to do, which is to project my voice. Now, like I said, I'm just going to outline this really quick. And I know this seems awkward, but I'm telling you, it is amazing what this does. And it's nice to have the office nice and quiet today. Just keeping things down and still and nice and peaceful. But I've been working in silence most of the morning, and today I am feeling it with doing nearly a dozen podcasts in 72 hours or so, whatever it is, 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever it is. My days have all run together. No, seriously though, I've been doing this for like 4 days, so like 72 hours is right. But yeah, I had an average of 3 podcasts a day since I posted and requested from everybody. Now, I know this, like I said, this is going to be awkward because at first it doesn't look like it's going to go. But whenever I put the pinks and greens and grays in here, this is going to accent, and it's going to be really wild. I mean, this just gives it a whole new effect and level to it. So, and I got asked to draw. By the way, you guys always ask me what I got going on. I got asked to draw another comic book this morning, and I was like, okay, maybe. I don't know about that yet. I got a lot going on, and I've got a couple of projects that I really want to do from submissions I put out, because I do freelance for specific things, but I don't want to get tied down because I just finished up another book. So I don't know. I've got 1 or 2 sideline projects that I'm talking to people about that I really want to do and get involved with. But I had a massive graphic novel drop in my lap yesterday, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to mess with that right now. But, I appreciate you guys coming at me with projects and ideas. And, you know, like I said, I openly keep that open. So I do accept projects, but commissions and, you know, comic projects and things like that. It just depends on what my schedule looks like and if I can work with what you've got going on. Um, the reason I say anything about that is because, you know, a 350 page graphic novel is a little heavy, but doing, you know, small stuff, I am open to that as long as it pays. Not that I'm money dependent on what I do, as long as it has gain for me, you know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily have to be money. It has to be at least some kind of heavy exposure to a big following, or, you know, it's got to be a big return on investment for me for that exposure, for that to happen. Because I'm not one of those guys that screams, "You have to pay me," but, you know, it's professional and nice if you do come at me with, you know, paid jobs. But there's a difference in doing free money, you know, free stuff that just goes dead, and, you know, freebie stuff versus doing more exposure driven stuff. So there's a difference. There's a difference. I talk about that all the time, but um, you know, I just talked with Jim O'Reilly about that last night. He and I were on a podcast session, and we talked about that and touched base on that a little bit to, you know, declare the difference between what we get out of things financially as financial gain, you know, bearing monetary gain, as in financial gain bearing exposure, more projects, you know, more credentials, that kind of sort of thing, moving stuff around. So, you know, think about that when you're doing this stuff. Okay, there's the, oh, I just knocked all my pins off the table. I keep a bad habit of keeping pins and stuff on my rack. You know, on my slip rack, the little bar across the bottom of my table. Do you guys ever do that? Yeah, yeah. You know, I never expect to work for free. Exactly, Brian. I appreciate you hanging out, man. No, glad you made it, buddy. But yeah, that's exactly it, Brian. You know, don't go in expecting people to do work for free, because that's just um, it's unprofessional and it's rude. But, you know, on top of that, pay attention to the fact of what people are doing, and you know, be prepared to compensate for at least something out of kindness, just to be professional about it. Now, what I was talking about with what Rich taught me about that silver look, with that pink underneath the gray, and then you take a light gray and you pencil over it. Look how that looks. Just look at how that looks. It makes a mother of pearl type of effect, and it doesn't do it with any other color except this one. I mean, I've tried it with greens, I've tried it with blues, I've tried it with other, you know, different colors. It doesn't have that metallic look. That pink gives it a true silver glaze. And I tell you what, it is nuts the way that works. When he taught me that, it changed the way that I do Silver Surfer completely. And you guys know that he passed away a while back now. Um, Unfortunately, he didn't survive his issues, some medical issues he had, and he'd been fighting it for years, and he wasn't able to fight it off this time, unfortunately, and we lost a great talent. But he lives on with me, I guarantee you that, because of the fact that I do this right here. So when you guys see me go at this, and let me sharpen this up a little bit, because what I got going on, oh, I'm going to grab the big sharpener. The box sharpener's not cutting it, folks. There we go. There we go. Well, you know, that was something else. I don't want to get sidetracked off what I was saying about Rich, but I'll touch base on that in just a sec, Brian. But yeah, you know, that's one of those things with this. I needed a darker point to get that to lay down, so you guys can see now that I'm bringing it in and going back over that pink. Like I said, it's crazy the way that works. And he told me, he said, you know, he said he figured it out by accident because some of his ink ran over, some of his paint ran over, and he did it in paints, and it worked just as well in paints as it did in print with the pencils that I use. And I tried it with pencils, I've tried it with Copics, and it works like no tomorrow. Just amazing and effect to the comics for Silver Surfer. And I do this with pretty much anybody that I draw silver. I mean, I've done a couple of cards that are just specifically that way because I want them to have that look, because they're metal, a duller metal, like a chrome plate, rather than a high gloss Silver Surfer, you know, a silver coating kind of deal. So I do metal in variations depending on what I'm doing for that look and that feel of that project. But Silver Surfer, I always do this bright pink underneath the gray and then cut in, because it just adds a whole new layer to it. Now, as far as working for free, I do free work all the time, man. So don't, you know, I'm not going to contradict that, okay? Because yeah, it is a quality thing. I totally agree with that and what you're saying, and I understand that and respect it. But what I'm saying is, if you're doing something for free, understand what you're getting out of it as the artist before you go do that, and then put up top quality. Of course, I don't do free work if I'm going to give crap return, because it just, if I'm not into it, I do the Johnny Depp thing. You know, if I'm not into it, I don't do it. I don't want to waste their time or mine, and I don't want to give them crap work because I don't want that on my rep. But that's the difference. You know what I mean? If you feel you're going to put out crap work because you're doing it for free, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. So that falls on the artist side of things just as much as it does for the project manager that is offering it for free labor. I mean, if it's a great project, I'll consider it. I do free stuff like that all the time, because what I get in free is exposure and great return and great artwork and a great story that I'm involved with, which I wouldn't be able to otherwise. And I get to see that project come to life if it's something that I would enjoy reading. So, you know, it has to depend on the negotiation of what's coming out of it, and it has to be a win-win. So, but anyway, as far as this goes, I am all about the look of the Silver Surfer coming out with that silver glaze, because like I said, if you look at this card right now with that pink in there, how cool is that, right? I mean, we haven't even finished it yet. We haven't even gotten started to the blue and green hues yet, and look at that. It's just popping off, and it's just crazy how that effect works. And all you do is put down a simple bright pink, powder pink if you've got it, like these pencils, very light, very open, and you put in a bright pink and then do your silver light gray right over the top of it like this, and just blend them together naturally by grinding them over. So you layer it and let that pink pop through just a little, but make your gray solid. So when it comes out, it just makes it jump right off. I mean, I've never seen anything like that until he showed me that. And I had the blessing of him checking out some of my artwork, and it was a true blessing, because he was always super nice to me, and I never abused the fact that we were friends on Facebook and in social media. And he came to the cons a couple of times, and, you know, when I would go and hang out and whatnot here local. And it was just one of those things, you know. I tell you what, the dude was phenomenal, and it was just something. It was an experience that I take away, you know, from life, that is the same quality as of those that met Jack Kirby, you know, and said, "Hey, I got to meet Kirby," you know, blah blah blah, and it's just at that level, you know. It's meeting your favorite artist and getting to see living legends do this stuff right before your eyes. It's a totally different experience, man. So, you know, I got to talk to Rich on the phone a couple times, and I didn't, unfortunately, because he came here earlier than I was able to see him. I got to see him in passing once, but I did not get to sit and talk with him because there was a line out the door for his table. So that, you know, when people ask me if I got to meet him, I knew him through Facebook socially, but I did not get to sit down and talk with him. And I got to talk with him on the phone, like I said, once or twice. I think we made 2 connections together. But he was one of my what I call a remote mentor, because the dude was constantly getting his ear bent by me. I wouldn't abuse the thing, and he showed me, stuff all the time, and I would show him little things about once or twice a year, and he would say, hey man, do this or do that, and he would give me little tips as I was going along. And up until he passed away, he was watching the card sessions and stuff, and he said, told me it was good work and whatnot, and I lost my marbles. I screamed like a little geek girl. It was a fangirl scream, and so it was one of those experiences that you just can't get anywhere else in life, other than being interactive with great people. But that's the way that went down. And like I said, he gave me that little tip about Silver Surfer, and man, it's just crazy. And I was doing I was actually doing a commission piece when he saw that and helped me step into that realm. I'm going to sharpen this one. Moved the cup off the desk. But yeah, I mean, I don't want this to be the Rich Buckler show or anything, but that's where it's at, man. That's where it's at. The dude was awesome, and that's how I learned how to do this, and this is going to be phenomenal. Because like I said, you just layer it in very lightly, just for contrast. And this Silver Surfer is going to be very bright and colorful. And that's the way I want him to do it, because it's, Jack Kirby used to do this a lot with a bright pop. And they used to use a powder blue on a lot of his stuff, and it used to just pop off the page like no tomorrow. But anyway, I wanted this surfer to have a different approach to him and come in and definitely reflect my approach. Awesome stuff. But yeah, like Brian was talking about, he knows his stuff too. And he doesn't work for free much at all. And I do select pieces. But like I said, there's a difference in working for free and working for a return on investment. So definitely understand where that's coming from. And, respect what you're going to do from both sides of that table. So that's a cool topic to talk about. I'll have to mention that on the podcast once, maybe twice, because that's a long one. So, but here we go. We're knocking out Silver Surfer. Put that blue on the other side, like that. I'm going to sharpen down this green. I should have sharpened in before I should have sharpened these, and I need to get into that habit of sharpening them up before I get on the show, because I've got into a really bad habit of not doing that quite as much as I should. Now in these blues, I like to mix it up just a little bit to give that metallic mix with the greens coming in over and above them, just to shake things up. Because like I said, if you do true silver in respect of what's happening, it gives off 2 or 3 major colors in every contrasting touch of color that it has. And when you do that, it gives that mother of pearl effect, which is what silver looks like. Because that's the whole purpose of silver. It's all the colors in the spectrum mixed up and reflecting light in a high polished resolution. So, you know, you have everything going on. I didn't quit. I didn't put quite enough in there. I need to quit that real quick. But yeah, whenever you put in the color like that, what ends up happening is you overlay a couple of different colors and touch base and mix them together. And when you do this, like I said, it gives that true mother of pearl look, so that everything pops up and changes up and reflects everything just a little bit. I missed right between those fingers there. There we go. Cool deal. Because when you do it, it depends on how the light hits them, you know? And I get asked about this kind of stuff all the time. It's just like, how do you make it do this or this or this or this or this? You know, how do you make it refract light? How do you make it look silver? How do you color fabrics in, how do you color heavy fabrics in pencils? Because I do a lot of this pencil work. I do a lot more of it than I do digital these days because of the fact that I just like that 70s, 80s comic look. But it's a monotone thing. So doing all these different colors and stuff will mess up the traditional look, because normally people would come in with either a gray or a blue. They would be hard lined blacks, traditional, and then they would come in with gray or blue highlights, and that was it. They wouldn't do any silvers or grays in there. And that happens a lot, you know, because it was, like I said, it was monotone, so it was one major color that they would use to do that. Now, I'm going to take the good old Sharpie here. I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, you put in a Sharpie. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to put in the skyline being the cosmos behind him, and I'm going to put him in with a couple of stars here and there. I'll leave it open. And then what I'll do, I've got to clean that line up because I didn't cut that in hard. But then what I'll do is I'll draw some stars in there, and then I'll go behind him and put in some cool stuff here with the little stars and whatnot. Because I didn't even put in the Kirby crackles. Normally I would put in Kirby crackles, but I did not do that because I don't have him charged up. I didn't charge his fist in the drawing, and you know, build that up. But what I'll do is that I'll let this set. I'll black it out right now, and I'll let it set, and then I'll go in with a whiteout pen. And put in some dots for stars and stuff. And put him in the cosmos. That'll work. I'll do it Kirby style, just black it out. Just make it all black, no color, no nothing, no color, just black. And don't hold me to this, but I think it was John Byrne that used to go in whenever he would do a night scene. He would go in with a brush and flick it like that, and it would shoot specks all over. And I could be mistaken. It could have been another artist that did that, but I think it was John Byrne that did that. Whenever he would do a night sky, he would go in and put in spackle like that and throw down quick stars. There we go. Cool deal. Now I'll go over here. Boom. Right there. What are you doing today? Oh, drawing Silver Surfer. What are you doing today? Oh, cool. Watching. I think it's going to work out. I think we may have something with this. Yeah, cool. All right. Cool deal. I like it. I hope you guys dig it. That's it for this point. Hey, Jaden, thanks for making it on. You guys need to check out her Transformer work. She does cool stuff. She does very cool stuff. I think that's it for right now. I'm going to keep this one short because I'm knocking out some pages so I can put up the website this weekend for Firestone Comics. FirestoneComics.com is going to be back this coming week with the Night of the Living Dead webcomic / anthology appearance of the origin of the first 12 pages or so with Mega Book 5, Mike Rickaby's book, the anthology. I'm going to actually have it appear over there. At least I hope I still am. I hope I get it done in time. I'm another page or two out before we finish it up. But yeah, I plan to have it appear there to help spread the word about it for, you know, a Firestone cross appearance. But I don't know. Don't hold me to that because at this point in timeline, I don't want to hold his book up any longer. But it definitely will be out this week for you guys on the website for sure. So anyway, with that said, you got this rock. You inherited it for your lifetime. Share it with somebody else and leave it better than you found it. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Check you later.